Hey friends, Rich Rising. I'm a little under the weather, a little sick, so don't mind my sexy voice. I just wanted to share some thoughts. I mentioned last week, I'm just making breakfast by the way, in case you hear any background noise. I mentioned last week that last week was a high anxiety week, right? So I got to experience something last week that I don't think I've experienced before. And it could be due to the fact that the Alexa Pro is helping me in a lot of ways, right? So um last week while I was experiencing through the high anxiety week, um it was like I was experiencing it, but I was also witnessing myself go through it. So it was like a great moment of awareness for myself. And I made some, well, I guess like rediscovered some things that I had already known. And I wanted to share those thoughts with you guys. So I think anyone that deals with an anxiety disorder can relate to the fact that it's a full body experience from your brain to your feet. It's not just something that's in your head. It's not just thoughts, although it can be. But with the disorder, it's a full body experience. So last week, with my full body, I had all kinds of sensations, like cold hands, warm feet, fatigue, brain fog, stomach issues, um, just very low appetite, just a lot of things. Like to name a few that I can remember right now. The brain fog was extreme. I mentioned in a previous video that I was using like coin flip and a wheel of options to like make decisions because I was just like I just could not function. And I while I was going through it, I also had that other part of my brain that was witnessing everything and observing and making like observations. And one of the observations was like, this is definitely not sustainable. It's so funny, like even thinking that in the moment, because it's like I know it's not sustainable, I don't want to be doing this, right? But it was just very interesting. It was like, wow, this is not sustainable. My body was so my brain was so flooded with like overwhelm and just the it was like very like overload, like my whole body, my brain was fried, right? It was overloaded. So maybe like I like to think of my brain as a computer, and it's like maybe those backup systems kicked in and we're like, okay, well, this is not sustainable, right? um but as I was experiencing it, it was like I felt like my brain was not okay. And I don't just mean my thoughts. Like I know, I totally get that with the anxiousness, like thoughts can be really catastrophic, extreme, etc., right? But it's not just a thought. Like it was like I felt like my brain chemistry is off. You see what I mean? Like with the whole experience of that high anxiety, it wasn't just affecting my body, it was also flooding my brain. And so that's why it was like completely overloaded, you know? I mean, I don't know if you guys get what I'm trying to say, but like while I was experiencing it, like in the past, before taking Lexapro, I would just be experiencing it fully. Like I didn't really have these I would observe after the aftermath is when I would start to like reflect, right? But this time around, I got to reflect while I was in it. So it was really interesting. I was talking to my therapist yesterday, and I was like, of course, I don't like having those kinds of experiences, right? Who does? But at the same time, I feel like I learned something valuable about myself. And I feel, what's the word that I want to use? Like, it's so easy for us who deal with like anxiety disorder, like invisible disabilities, invisible conditions that people can't see. It's so easy for us to get dismissed or overlooked, or like for people not to take us seriously. And I felt like for the first time in a long while I was going through the high anxiety and like having those observations about my brain and my brain chemistry and and like how my thoughts were affected and my whole experience was affected, like for the first time I felt like it just felt like real. Like everything felt, it didn't feel like it's just me. It didn't feel like it's just me like making shit up, or it's not just me like I'm just going through a moment. It really felt like no, there's something off here. There is something off. And I really believe like when my body gets overloaded with flooded with what I call the, like the waves of anxiety, because it's not it really feels like kind of like surfing. Like I'm like, okay, I gotta find my balance throughout this wave, because otherwise I'll get thrown off the board. um I don't know, I just felt like my experience is valid. I felt that fully last week. um I think I wasn't really accepting of my experience as valid for a long time. Like, of course, I had grace for myself, and I knew I was going through something, but it kind of felt like it was almost like I was blaming myself for what was happening. Like there's something that I didn't do or something I did wrong, or like it I was kind of like dismissing my own experience because I was getting dismissed so often by others. So the basically like the revelation I had last week was that sense of like, no, this is a real experience. Like this is real. This is true. Honest to God, I am being affected from brain to toe, like, and yeah, um, I I'm really grateful to be sharing this with you guys because this is important work. This is boots to the ground journalism, right? So last thing I'll say is if you are going through an experience that other people don't understand and you kind of feel dismissed, overlooked, or like maybe that there is maybe there's something to what other people are saying, that it's not that serious, that it's not real, that it's not really happening, that you see what I mean? If you feel like that, if you're feeling kind of like your experience is not real, or it's like being um dismissed or overlooked, I just want to say that, like, no, your thoughts and emotions are so valid. Like whatever experience it is that you're living through is valid, and I believe you. So anyway, I hope these thoughts help somebody, but thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Have a beautiful day.